Yo, welcome to this edition of Cop or Drop. I got to get that right if this is going to be like a thing. Today we're going to be talking about the Chris Ramsay First Playing Cards V4 edition. And we're going to be answering the question, should you cop or should you drop? Just going to be giving you my opinion. So before we get into it, please remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new here, and ring that notification bell for more playing card content. So before we jump in, I got to tell a brief little story. I have a special place in my heart for Chris Ramsay and the first brand of playing cards because that is how I got into collecting playing cards, which I love. Watched Chris Ramsay do some puzzles. He talked about cards. He was doing some magic. And I was around for the drop of the V2. That was my first playing card drop. It was so fun. I think those cards sold out in about an hour. I know I used to build websites, and so you can look at the computer code of a web page. And back then, before Chris's website was on Shopify, I think it wasn't on Shopify. Anyways, you could look at the computer code and you could see how many decks were there as they were selling out. Best I remember, I think he printed about 30,000 of these. I think I remember on drop day, right after I bought, right when they dropped, I looked in the computer code and there was like 25,000 decks left. So anyways, I don't know if that's true, but I think it is. So that was my very first experience. I loved it. I got the signed deck. I think the cards are absolutely beautiful. They're classy. I love them. I sort of got back into the V1s. Back in those days, they were selling for about $30 a piece, so I picked up a couple of those. So yeah, I loved it. This is the brand that got me into playing cards. I have every reason in the world to want to love the V4s. So then he dropped the V3s, and the very first time I saw the V3s, not the Tuck's cool, I think, the back design, I was like, I didn't really know what I thought about it, and it hasn't really grown on me. For me, it was a cop. I think I bought 3 decks that day. I didn't buy a brick, and I've never really fallen in love with them. I appreciate them. Another thing that I can say about the Chris Ramsay first brand of playing cards, which he's continued with the V4 series, which I really have a lot of respect for, is that they're not just all recolors. These are actually just the Tuck case turned inside out, and I just put them here because I think it's cool when you do that. And so there you go. But yeah, I really appreciate that when he's making his decks, he's not just doing a blue and a green and a red and this other shade of red. He's being creative and putting thought into it, changing it up. So that certainly is continued with the V4. I don't have any of the decks because they were just released and announced like 2 days ago. I don't think anyone has them. So my thoughts on the V4, drop or cop. The positives are I wanted to like it. That's not actually a positive. That's a sort of a presupposition. But I wanted to like it. Came into it, a fan of the brand. I got the hat, although I removed the lettering on the side because I thought it was sort of awkward. Just my own personal opinion. And yeah, I was, well, let me talk about the good things first. So I love that he's changing up the direction of the cards. I think the faces are cool, the way the first logo is turned. He's got it on the Crush premium stock. I love the price, right? All of his other releases are $15 retail. Even if you bought a brick, you got a signed deck under the cellophane, still $15 retail. These are $10 retail. That's fantastic. I love that he printed a ton of them. Again, I checked on launch day. Based on what you could see in the quantities in stock, I think he printed about 20,000 of each color, the whites and the blacks. I love that. That means lots of people will get these cards in their hand. They're affordable. That's great. I love the whole idea that he has a brand new theme. I've sort of touched on that a little bit. But the cards themselves, for me, they just didn't do it for me. They weren't persuasive enough for me to spend $10 a deck, which is not, you know, a lot compared to some of the Fontaine releases at $15 or Chris Ramsay's brand at $15. So, yeah, for me, they were a drop. I hate to say it. I really don't. I wanted to like them a lot more. I think they'll be great for the playing card community, especially because of the great low price. There'll be a lot of people, hopefully like me, that get into cards through the V4s, and there's plenty of them, which is great. So I love that he released them. Don't hear me saying that it's bad in any way. Just for me personally, cop or drop, it's a drop. I love the classiness. I love the vibe. I love the gold foil. I love the attention to detail. And I think that the V4s could have had that. He could have put a little red metallic ink on the side here like he did with these. He could have spiced it up a little bit. He chose to go in a different direction. Mad respect for that. One last opinion that I'll share. I feel like the first playing cards that the brand that he created with the V1 and V2 has a particular flavor, a particular aesthetic to it. And he really departed from that with the V3. It's kind of a mix of like a cardistry deck, but it still has the gold foil. And then the V4 just went, way over there in terms of a more cardistry deck, in my opinion. And what I wish he would have done was kept the first brand, this classy, elegant, and create a different brand for the release of this, or at least for the release of the V4s. That's just my opinion. He's welcome to do whatever the heck he wants. More power to him for putting out great cards, getting people interested in Magic, in cardistry, in collecting, in all the stuff that he promotes, the puzzles. Yeah. So guys, that's it for this episode of Drop or Cop. I'm brand new at this. This is like literally my first video ever. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Let me know in the comments what you think about Chris Ramsay's decks. Any of them, the V1, the V2, the V3, the V4. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.